Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Chronicles. In the previous episode, we took on a new case. Today's episode right now, we're going to go to the prison governor's office. If you have today's episode, make sure that like button is supported. It's going to push the channel. As we're going to go into Barclay prisons on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its four high outer walls loom quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Hey, yo, whoa, ho. Guillotine, an axe, a shotgun, a parrot. Assuming it's a parrot. Whoo! Big guy.
This place is full of hardened criminals. I remember the last time a civilian was doomed here. And you didn't want to talk to the inmate, but to me.
Yo!
And you know, Ken, who I am? I'm the governor, barricaded.
Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer.
An Easterner, I see. Does that mean?
Yes, I'm visiting a student of law from the Empire of Japan.
Japan? Did you say Japan?
Yes. Racist.
Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try to see the president next door, eh?
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Racist. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about...
I didn't like to be direct, but... I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you, specific look
Easterners. Racist. You racist.
Now, get off my hair.
One hair left. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. Racist! That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago. We already went through this. How many times now? We know who the heck that guy is. Executed, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in a cemetery behind the prison.
I might have known. You're sniffing around about the case, aren't you? You're an agent, eh? Part of Professor's great web, no doubt.
No, not at all. We're just...
Get gone with you, before I punch your lights out.
We're going. Literally, the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not going to get anywhere with here, unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's no something suspicious about us. Governor Caden. What are you thinking, Mr. Sato? I feel sure that name came up in a conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. Stronghard or... Alright. And those are handcuffs? Sheesh. I got two ideas. This is the first one. Nope. Alright. Next up to the Watergate Hotel. The Waterloo Hotel. Ah! That's Professor Mikotobo over there.
Oh, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked.
Well, where's Judge Jigoku?
Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taking himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived in the country today? Goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you know the prison governor at Barclay Prison?
Oh, Governor Caden, you mean?
So it's the same man. Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we're suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompany you, it would be a very different story.
Oh, would you? That would be wonderful if you have time now.
Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment.
Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable seat?
No, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know?
Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotos are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you, Mr. Naruhodo, are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts?
Let's not fall out now. I have an idea.
What's he writing on that piece of paper?
Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune.
Ah, thank you.
Good luck then.
Alright, I wonder how long it took for the trip. Back over there to the governor's office. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden.
What's this then? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Riko Toba. That young jock from the forensic laboratory, that Miko Toba?
Yes, exactly. Him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Eugene Mikotoba's daughter, Susato.
Jeez, you're the young man's daughter?
Young.
And you didn't think to mention that before?
I do apologize?
Hey, well, you best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And didn't forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits.
Biscuits! Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So then, what can I do for you, huh?
Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing.
Missing?
That's right. It surely be a report to you as well, being the prison governor.
I have not heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing person in my prison.
Oh? But how can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil. Daily Vigil? Your chief warder.
Vigil?
That's right. His wife came to ask us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course.
We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison.
Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job. No doubt about it. He was a fine warder.
Sorry, did you say was?
Aye, he does not work here no more. He left the job.
Oh my. When was this exactly? He has a hair comb?
It's a question. When was it about? It cannot have been much less than 10 years ago now.
Huh? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago?
Aye. As I mind it, do you know, Ken? I have not heard the fellow's name in all that time. Not to worry, he's gone missing, though.
But Miss Vigil made no mention of it.
We've been lied to.
I think perhaps Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here?
That's important, is it?
Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? That he was killed? Which was exactly when the professor was being held at the prison. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of chief warder 10 years ago, you're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed?
It was after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
Aye, that's our word for it. In here, a walk to the gallows.
Huh? An execution?
It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee an execution, you see? Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but I can't reveal that information.
Did it have to do with the professor?
And I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to leave his post.
Well, why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to under the impression that her husband still works here.
I wouldn't know, Ken, about anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, Ken?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor?
My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that.
I see. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Do you know, Ken?
Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinner. It's still in use today.
St. Sinners? That's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Miko Toba and I have to use to ride a carriage together and negotiate terms.
For more fresh material, I suppose.
Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on our boot dissection all sorts. Oh, takes me back. Over a porcine and play a cup of biscuits, of course.
How charming.
He was a good fella, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Osogi, I suppose?
Well, I can't tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment before you are away, Hen. I'm sure I have it here somewhere.
A photo of you guys back in the day?
Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, mind.
Thank you very much, Governor Caden.
Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed.
Hey. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Jones what we found. What will he tell Miss Virgil, I wonder? Look at what we have an opportunity here now, while the governor is away. Mr. Naruhodo, you could be in prison if you were caught. That's a good point. Perhaps not then. But the bird! What do we have? Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved in the post with the immediate effect of a violating clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct of Prisons. All right to pay and other financial measures are fully revoked. Aiding and abetting the escape from the prison of convict just prior to his execution. Details for the escape are still being investigated. Full cooperative inquiries. What? Wait, it was the third one. Indication of the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to his incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some sort of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding this ownership will be demanded.
Move.
First November, Shom Suite. We're back! Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Oh, so that's what the delicious smell is. Greetings, my dear fellows! Oh my god. You return a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Why is it blue? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Say nothing, your thoughts are written all over your face. In any case, it turns out it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Pray tell me, what our warden friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes, something very surprisingly, in fact. But it's no patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't. But still, we discovered that... Sholmes? Dropping everything, Sholmes! This is more important! Gina? I can't Adam and Eve it. Huh? Where Toby at? What's happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? The boss is... He's dead. What? They just found his body, shot with a pistol. What? But... Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No, not Gregsy. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was? He was with... Why do you have to do with the Flash? Oh my gosh. I don't know much about what happened myself yet. We're still there investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room in a building full of flats of Fresno Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him I become a proper detective. Oh, Jeannie. So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? They got him already. Already? They caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? How much you want to bet it's the husband we're looking for? How much you want to bet it's the husband? I still can't believe in myself. Gina? It was the Reaper. Wait a minute. You don't mean... They've arrested Lord Von Zykes for it? That's right. The Reaper bloke's gone. And shot the boss. No, Lord Von Zykes. Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? Is Barrick Von Zykes the police have arrested? I saw it with my own eyes. In the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actual multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently, and when Alana got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. But there's no way Lord Von Zykes would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come on all, as soon as you can. You gotta help. It's a detective's lot to appear whether there is some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there to being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming? How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson! Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigation. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later then. Inspector Gregson's dead. Lord Von Sykes arrested. That means we're gonna face that's where we're gonna face our friend in trial. Bruno, Susie, I've called you a handsome. It's waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sato? Yes. Go down. 1, 2, 3. What's crazy in the previous case, he was here talking to his friend. Now he's the one in jail. There he is. Lord Von Sykes behind bars. So, it's true. He really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's not noticed us. Lord Von Sykes! That means we're gonna face Kazuma in court, huh? Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I like to be, with the last person on Earth I like to see. I couldn't be very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Von Sykes, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading on the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This. The yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes, I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Von Sykes never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Von Sykes? What happened? How much do you already know? We know that Inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody in the room and that someone heard the gunshot. Then you are well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I worked alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving of officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened? If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer, though. Who is going to represent you in court, Lord Von Sykes? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career of all defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstance. Questions will be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of the killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about them. What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrained was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me he's safe for arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your astute little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I acquired the entire day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrained is safely back in Germany now. He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all! Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Von Zykes, if you like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please! I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I appreciate it if you don't visit again. Though neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Von Zykes and what happened to Inspector Gregson. And with that, we'll end the episode right here. Like, comment, subscribe.